Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the February 8th, 2022 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are glad you're with us. For those watching online, we're glad you're with us as well. We will begin, as we always do, with an invocation. Please stand with me and join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, watch over us as we deliberate for the good of our community and its citizens. Please bless Henderson County. Protect its people. Please watch over our men and women in uniform, both here and abroad. Please be with our first responders and healthcare professionals as they continue to respond to the global pandemic. We say all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Manager McCollum?
I am here.
Manager Berry?
Here.
Manager Putman?
Here.
Manager Moran?
Here.
Manager Southern?
Here.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have before you the minutes of the January 25th Fiscal Court meeting and the January 27th special called meeting. After a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve both those sets of minutes.
So moved. Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any other clarifications, corrections, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have one of our favorite things to do, our Judges Scholar, and this morning we have with us Ty Sellers from Niagara Elementary School, and I should have put two and two together when I saw your last name was Sellers. That's why you have a whole row of family and fans here. It doesn't surprise me at all. You come from a great family. Tice, would you meet me right up front right here? Done this before.
Whereas Ty Sellers has been chosen by Niagara Elementary School to be the recipient of the Judges Scholar Award for exceptional efforts in both academics and school activities. And whereas Tice's hard work and dedication in making the most of educational experiences and developing positive relationships with teachers and other students will lead to future success. And whereas success is measured in many different ways, whether it be passing a test, scoring the winning point, achieving a particular goal, or taking the necessary steps for overall improvement. And whereas the Henderson County school system could not let Tice's efforts go unnoticed, and whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court supports the school system and acknowledges these accomplishments as being significant because students such as Tice Sellers will be our future leaders. And now therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, join with the Henderson County Fiscal Court to proclaim February 8th, 2022 as Tice Seller Day.
Oh, hang on, I've got paparazzi going on. Come on up there. Yeah, I took all of you. Anybody wants to be in the photo, come on. All right, come on. I'm taller than your
That's how we want it.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem, man. Maybe the biggest family photo we've had.
You need to get on to Bill. That's his job.
It's all those years of teaching traffic court.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tice. And congratulations to the family and school representatives. It's a big day. We have some more recognition, and we have with us a very special guest, Richard Zussman. And Richard, if you'd like to come up to the mic with your guests, please, and introduce them to us. Can you introduce your guest, please?
Yes, this is Ginger and Amy. Amy is the head of CASA for this area and has been for quite a while. I've been working with her for a few years.
We're going to hear from Amy in a moment, but we are here to read a special notation, a citation that was read on the floor of the Senate, the state Senate last month, in honor of Mr. Zussman's service to CASA, court-appointed special advocates, and a volunteer for 23 years. Incredible. So this was pushed forward into the Senate floor by Robbie Mills, our senator, and I will recite it. To all to whom these presents shall come, greetings. Know ye that Richard Zussman is recognized and honored upon his retirement for his many contributions as a CASA volunteer for more than 23 years in Henderson and Union counties. As a CASA volunteer, Mr. Zussman worked with the Department for Community-Based Services, daycares, schools, and medical and therapeutic agencies. He referred families to a network of community resources for necessities and advocated for children and families in both the courts and schools. Inasmuch as Richard Zussman tirelessly and compassionately served children who experienced abuse or neglect and facilitated countless happy and successful reunifications and adoptions, he is applauded for his decades of invaluable service and has extended best wishes for continued success and good fortune in the future on the motion of Senator Robert M. Mills, hereby deemed by this honorable body most worthy of its recognition. And I think you deserve a standing ovation, Mr. President. If you'd like to say a few things, we'd love to hear a bit of your story and maybe a bit more about CASA.
I would just like to say that I don't believe there's any more rewarding things you can do than working with kids. As a CASA worker, you're the eyes and ears for the judge. You give maybe a little deeper slant and less legal slant than the cabinet. You work with the cabinet or kind of intermingle. But it's very rewarding, and just to know that the kids know that they have a foundation they can stand on when they have a problem with, and a lot of these kids have real problems. It gives you the opportunity to talk to the parents, see if you can't help get them off of drugs or get a little bit out of themselves and more into their children. I highly recommend it for rewarding work.
Thank you. And any thoughts about CASA?
Well, he said it very, very well. I came into the position, and Richard had been with us for 21 years when I came into the position. And I got back briefed on all of my volunteers, and what I was told is Richard was set in his ways. I'm like, oh my, okay. Richard was set in his ways. He was set on visiting his children every day, every month. He was set on advocating for them and supporting the families that he was in. his very last child, without trying to violate any HIPAA, was adopted after many years of being in DCS care. He was a very, very special needs child. We just sat on the bench, and I know he doesn't internet much. So I asked him if he had seen the post of Facebook where the young man, when it was snowing outside, had been taken out by his mother and was scooping the streets where he lived and the sidewalks so people could walk safely. He was very set in his ways, and his way was dedication. And many of his families and his children over the years have benefited from having Richard in his life, and I much appreciate it, as we all should.
No, thank you.
Richard,
And-
I'd like to thank you. You were there whenever I was county attorney. It's been a long time ago. And I am a big advocate for CASA. It gives the child a voice. I was pretty ignorant about abuse. I always thought my mother would have done whatever, fought for me or whatever, and I think she would have. The surprising thing that I found was that in sexual abuse cases, 90% of the mothers side with the victim. It's just, it was hard for me to wrap my head around that. And that's why
The abuser.
I pushed to get the CASA program started, because it just didn't make sense. But it takes people like you that are willing to step up and give the child a voice. If your parents aren't giving you a voice and protecting you, somebody has to. And I really appreciate all the time you put into it. It is rewarding, but it's painful too. So,
There
thank
was
you.
another thing that I worked with. I don't know what happened. It was FIT, Families in Transition, and we would work with families that were breaking up. What happened to that? Did it just fade away? I don't think they still have it.
I don't believe so. That was a program of the family court.
And if I can answer that, it has morphed into family services. We have family
Oh,
services that
okay.
go into
All
the
right.
home and work with them
All right.
directly now.
Well, I didn't
Yes.
mean to sidetrack. I just
No,
concerned about that.
it's just listed under a new name now, so.
Okay.
So your
Thank-
hard work didn't go away. It's just changed, and we have providers that go into the home and work with them on reunification and keeping the children in a home if it's possibly safe for them.
Yeah, if I may, let me just kind of chime in with Master McCullum. We appreciate your volunteerism. You know, it seems to be it's becoming kind of a lost civic duty, in my opinion. You know, we need more volunteers and more like you, sir. I myself, like Charlie, support CASA. I look forward to your tea every year. I get my tea bag, drink my cup of tea, and it's very catchy, by the way.
Thank you.
But, you know, in my opinion, you've done something that's just shows you how to servant's heart with working with those children that need that help. So we appreciate everything you do.
Well, thank you.
You're a good man.
Thank you all.
There's going to be a ripple effect of the work that you've done that goes across generations in Henderson and Union County. And that's something that I think you can look back on and be very, very proud of, because you have made a real difference. And thank you for it.
Thank you.
Here is your copy of the citation. I must say that Union County Judge Executive Adam Monin had a lot to do with getting this done. He's a huge fan of yours, and I know the CASA team is also appreciative. So thank you for joining us today. I'm glad we're able to recognize you in this fashion. Thank you. Hard to follow that after Tice and Mr. Zussman. We got some great people in this county. I believe you were sent some copies of this resolution we'd like to present to you to consider, that would offer support to Kenergy's application before the PSC to build out an internet network here in both in Henderson County and all their counties, hopefully to eventually bring high-speed fiber to the home internet to all of our residents. Before I have the clerk read the resolution, any comments or questions? I did yesterday push out information on how the public can offer their comment up until the March 31st hearing. That's the next schedule a hearing for this application, and we'll push it out again. And the response I've gotten already is that people are eager to offer their opinions on this and support Kenergy. So with that, I'll have the clerk read the resolution.
If you can push it out to us, like on Facebook, just make sure we get it too, that we can push it out too, because I think, Beth, you and I both got a...
It's on there already.
Yeah,
It's on there already.
I'll make sure to
Okay.
do that.
Yeah.
I haven't, maybe I just didn't go through the Facebook that much.
A resolution declaring support for Kenergy Corp. and Kenneseek Incorporated PSC application. Whereas the onset of COVID-19 pandemic has magnified the need for high-speed internet availability to the citizens of Henderson County, Kentucky, for both educational and economic opportunities, the Henderson Fiscal Court, being aware of Kenergy Corp.'s and Kennett's Incorporated application pending before the Kentucky Public Service Commission, case number 2021-00365, desires to express its support for broadband development in Henderson County, Kentucky. Whereas Henderson County, Kentucky is unserved and underserved in broadband access outside the city limits of Henderson County, and whereas Kenergy Corp.'s certified electrical territory encompasses nearly all of Henderson County outside the city limits of Henderson, Kentucky, and whereas Kenergy Corp. Has applied to the Kentucky Public Service Commission to provide broadband service in Kenergy Corp.'s service territory through its affiliate, Connect Incorporated, and whereas providing broadband availability to the citizens of Henderson County will have a positive educational and economic impact, and whereas development of broadband is one of the top priorities of Henderson County Fiscal Court. Now therefore be it resolved that the Henderson County Fiscal Court fully supports and endorses Kenergy Corp.'s and Connect Incorporated's application now pending before the Kentucky Public Service Commission, as this broadband project is vital to the needs of the residents of Henderson County, Kentucky. The Fiscal Court Clerk is directed to submit this resolution as public comment in case number 2021-00365 at the Kentucky Public Service Commission.
Make a motion to approve.
Do I have a motion and a
Just a
second?
note, I was going to note, I think the Kenergy folks put this together. I believe there's a typo in the spelling of Magistrate Putman's name. So
We will
if they
correct
sent
it.
that in Word.
We can amend that to be correct.
I've been called worse.
Just want to let you know, I know how to spell your name if I was doing the resolution.
Pending that correction, you have a motion? You have a
Yes.
second? Any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Judge,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just maybe a little explanation to the people that's with us today as to what the hang-up was going forward, what we've been dealing with all this time. There was about 6 if you would kind of give us a little update on why it's taken so long to get this to the hearing.
Well,
get it done.
one of the reasons is the PSC process just moves real slowly. Another slight delay was the fact that the case has what are called interveners, which are, in the way the PSC does its work, people who have some objection or question to a project under the PSC umbrella, they can intervene and offer whatever their objection is or their challenge is. And this application has interveners from the Kentucky Cable and Broadband Association. And those include the legacy cable providers that have not done a very good job providing rural internet to anybody, but also don't want competition. And so they intervene. They have in the past. They've anytime this has come up, they've kind of acted, in my opinion, to protect territory a little bit, and not necessarily looking out for the best interests of rural Kentucky. And so I'm sure that the PSC understands that, I hope, and Kenergy is making its case, and letters like this will, I hope, continue to support the idea that now, especially with the pandemic exposing how important internet connectivity, reliable, high-speed internet connectivity is to every home. It is no longer luxury. It's I think it's a utility at this point. So that's what you wanted me to
Yeah,
give background on.
again, just to add on to it, that makes it that much more important for people to respond on that.
That's right.
Go to that Facebook page and look at that site where you can go and encourage to move this thing along. Thank you, Judge. Very good job.
It will be competition. I think you all have somewhat of a provider down in Roberts. Outside Roberts, there's not much at all. And this will be competition as well, and I think around $50, and what was the speed? It was really, really good.
I think it's going to be like 250 to 400 megs for $50.
I mean, that's just awesome. It'll help and maybe let businesses come to your all's area and thrive, and I just think it's awesome. We just need to get it off and shoved out on the road.
Yeah. One of the reasons we're supporting this is because it is the most developed plan, and because Kenergy owns easements and poles and has the best chance to do this cost effectively and quickly. That's why I think it's so important. And their coverage of customers who live in rural areas in all of our counties are just what we need. That is what we need. The willingness to go the last mile down a dirt road to one house. That's where companies like AT&T and Verizon and places, they really don't want to go down there because it's not profitable. Electric co-ops don't have the same profit pressures, and they've done the math. They think this can work. It's been done in many other states, electrical co-ops getting in the internet business because of their unique positions. So I hope it ends up not only serving people, but being one of many options people could have.
Yeah.
I think in the next 6 months, because of the amount of federal money being thrown around, there'll be lots of companies wanting to come to this gap and fill it. And the more competition and choices all of our rural residents have, the better. So Godspeed.
Yes, it could be affordable,
Yeah.
you know, very affordable.
Right, affordable, reliable, fast. Those are the three big ones.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Okay, and thank you for, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, Bruce Farmer, if you remember at the last meeting, was tasked with going and trying to figure out whether we can keep fixing the chiller on his cooler box, for want of a better term, at the coroner's office. And if you see the reply from Arlie Wilms of Schmidt Refrigeration, the challenge with trying to keep our current refrigerant up and running, our refrigerator up and running, is parts and the cost of the refrigerant. So
I appreciate Bruce going and getting that information. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchase that he presented to us.
yeah, the $4,362.93 is for the chiller unit, which would go on the existing box.
Yeah.
And
No, everything that includes.
I'll
it-
second that motion, Magistrate, just,
Okay,
no,
go
I
Okay,
know you got
I'm-
more to
but
say.
that includes everything but freight, and we have tried to figure out what the freight may be. This company that Schmidt gets it from, sometimes they charge them freight, sometimes they don't. This is a pretty heavy unit, and like I said, there's a 3-month backlog to get the unit to start off with. So the price here is everything but freight. Now, what I have done is I've made a request to Deaconess Hospital that I would like to have a meeting with the 3 main people that we deal with up there. And I've asked them to do it face-to-face, because those of y'all who know me, I hate these Skype things. So I'd rather have you, face-to-face with them, we get things done. They have not got back with a date on me yet. I want to talk to them specifically about the cooler. And if we've got a brand new one, we're talking $8,000 to $10,000. So I'd like to work a deal with the hospital to get that cooler and us put a new refrigeration unit on it. The hospital got it for free through federal funds 13 years ago. So it's already worked itself off the Homeland Security books and all. So that's where we're having a little thing right there. But I appreciate you approving it. I'd like to hold ordering it till I have the meeting with them.
Okay.
Because, it's going to be 3 months no matter what.
Should we withdraw our motion then and let you come up with the hospital talk to see if they're going to let you do something first before we take any action on it?
Well, we can leave it there, that if the hospital wants to keep things as is, we'll already have the money approved to go do it. If the hospital wants to change something, I'll come back. Do what?
How long do you think it will take? So, if we delay too long, it'd be another month or whatever to...
I've asked them for as quick as we can. And if worse goes to worse, I'll do a Skype meeting with them.
Bruce, clarify for me.
Yes,
What
sir.
are you going to talk to the hospital leadership about? What are you going to ask them?
I'm going to ask them if they are willing to either, because reading the contract with us, a major expense like that. Last year, we spent over $1,800 on repairs for the cooler alone. And all it is an insulated box with a refrigeration unit on top. It's not a big, complicated thing. But what I'm going to ask them is if, would they be willing to sell it to us? And where we can take control of it and do it, take care of it ourselves and be responsible for it, is the one thing I'd like to do.
Why don't you ask them to give it to us
Well, that's my first.
and let us take care of it?
That's my first motion, yes. Is if
Because
we-
either way, we're going to have to spend this money to replace the chiller.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I was saying this number stands, though, regardless whether they
Yeah.
give it to
Yes.
us or we
Yeah, so we could go
we
ahead and order.
continue
can
to
you-
use it. Just
Can you talk to them this week and we come back to this next week and redo this motion? If they don't want to give it to us, do we want to consider buying our own and letting them take this away and do whatever they want to with it?
Whatever the court's wishes are. I say that if we can get our hands on it, we replace the cooler,
I
we're going to
can't-
be better off financially.
I can't imagine they wouldn't just give it to us because they don't need it.
I don't think they do either.
They've already offered to pay for the catch basin that, for whatever reason, we couldn't get to, but they're paying for it, and I appreciate that. I think they'd give it to us, especially if we're already committed to replacing the chiller unit.
We've got a lot more things going for us that some of the people at the upper level don't know what the coroner's office has been doing to help out the hospital. And I've now got people in the hospital who are willing to get a hold of them and tell them that. And all that, what we do a little above and beyond to help them. And we've been supplying them body bags. I supply them all the provisional reports of death because they don't have any registrars. Whenever there's a death up there, my guys end up helping them 9 times out of 10, taking the remains downstairs to the storage unit downstairs because they're so short of nurses in the emergency room.
I'd like to withdraw my motion and
Charlie,
let's continue back next week.
could we just table this till we get
Yeah.
more the additional information? I
Second
think
the table, if that's a motion.
Yeah, the motion is table.
So you withdraw it, we'll table this.
Okay. You talk to them between now and next meeting and see what they want to do with the box.
Even if they give us the box, I think we're still held to the requirements they have in your lease about maintaining a remote sensing system and
It's on there and we're
things
using
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that doesn't relieve us of any of that responsibility, but I don't know why they'd want to keep the box if we're going to
I don't either, but
repair it and
I think he does need to talk
swatch
to
it
them
out.
and work that out before
The
we make a
people across the
decision.
river are a little different than people in Kentucky. I told the chief
They
executive.
say the same
that-
thing about you, Bruce.
I told the chief executive that once she came over and she said, no, hospitals are hospitals. They're all basically the same. Within 2 months, she told me, yes, you were right. Because we have certificate of needs, they don't,
Well,
there's a ton of stuff.
And I want to say out loud that we appreciate Deaconess Henderson, and we really, value our partnership with them, what they do for our community, and allowing our corner, to have an office
All
there.
that,
So,
yeah, as a whole, they've been real good to work with.
yeah, excellent. Okay, we'll bring it back to us.
Thank you.
Do we need to vote on the motion?
I think if you just simply
Table and
withdraw the motion.
Either way, it's fine with
Yeah.
me.
second?
He'll withdraw
I
the
withdraw
motion,
my
and I'll-
second
and I'll-
if you want to
Okay.
go that way.
Yeah, I'll-
It's gone.
All right. The detention center CSC renovation bids we're going to pull that off the table too. They need to be redone. There's some questions there, and I think the jail's still working with our architect to
Okay.
push out more specific details, and then some bid packages will be adjusted and sent back out to the contractors. So you have to wait on that a bit. With that, I'll bring Sheriff Crafton up with a special request. Then I'll turn it over to the Sheriff Crafton.
Thank you, Judge.
David, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but I am, and I apologize, but
That's okay.
is this something that's an emergency right this minute?
No, not right this minute.
Can we put this and let you come to our finance committee meeting next Monday and let us talk about this first, so we don't have to talk all about it here?
Well,
That's what my recommendation would be.
When is it?
Monday, next Monday.
No, it's 2 Mondays from now.
2 Mondays from now?
It'll be on the 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll take care of you. We're not going to let you run out of money.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to do any of that. I mean, but I'd like to be able to look at it and discuss it with us and you before, and the treasurer before.
And I don't think we will blow out that line item or exceed that line item before that meeting.
Right.
I have no problem with it.
Okay.
No problem with it.
Works for me.
Whatever we do, I'd like to do it and try to do it, because we'll have to do an amendment to our budget.
I don't think so.
Transferring
We won't have
funds.
to do an amendment to a budget. We'll simply transfer money.
But if you're transferring money into a fund, don't you have to amend the budget?
No, we can just amend the line item.
Well, this would be coming out of the general fund.
It will be going, we'll
Our
likely cover it out of
contingency.
the general fund money.
Or it could come out of his budget from, say, his deputy salaries that he's not planning on using for
Well,
the
yeah,
year.
I mean, we could-
So, but
we
that's
could settle
the
on
kind
that.
of stuff I'd like to talk about in our finance.
But it wouldn't take 2 readings. We could do it with one transfer.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
If that's okay with you, 2
That's
Mondays
fine.
from now, we'll set a finance committee meeting and just talk it over.
Then fiscal court will be the next.
Very next day.
The very
Yeah.
next day, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll meet on the 22nd, again, Sheriff.
That'll
We'll
work.
meet on the
Yeah.
21st.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gold, your report.
All right, this is the point, Tice, where I'm going to ask you for a little help. Judge, I've got several checks today. Jail fees, $465, interest in the amount of $87.50, $11.34, $7.57, and $3.78, for a total today of $575.19, bringing the fiscal year total to date to $111,147.81. And Tice, can you hand that to the judge, please? He's got the actual checks.
Yeah.
He's got the whole thing.
Bring that money to me, Tice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tice. Motion to approve? Accept the.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Gold. Treasurer Ryder, we have any claims?
The first 3 are January appropriations, which were not included in the January claims. To the PVA in the amount of $25,200, Planning Commission GIS, $30,703.33, Air Board, $12,154. Also from the general fund to Renisa Abner in the amount of $4,679.08. This is for the 2022 training incentive, is to come from the clerk's training incentive appropriation line and is to be paid with the February 17, 2022 payroll. To Harp Enterprises in the amount of $3,766.30. This is for voting supplies and is to come from the election materials and supplies appropriation line. From the road fund to Paul Miller Ford in the amount of $36,283. This is for a 2022 F-250 truck, which was budgeted and is to come from the new machinery equipment appropriation line. To Butch and Billy Diesel in the amount of $3,154.82. This is for vehicle repairs and is to come from the maintenance equipment repairs appropriation line. From the jail fund to the Kentucky Jailers Association in the amount of $1,575. This is for the 2022 annual membership dues and is to come from the association dues appropriation line. To Advanced Document Solutions in the amount of $1,253.64. This is for copier leases and is to come from the data processing equipment appropriation line.
Make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
On the one to the Planning Commission for the GIS,
Yes.
how much did you say that was? I missed.
the Planning Commission GIS $30,703.33. These first three are part of the annual appropriations that are dedicated to these over the fiscal year, and they're on a rotation cycle every month, and they were omitted from the claims by accident for the month of January.
Any other questions? No. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Thank you.
Under old business, I've got an item, just as a reminder, on Thursday, February 17th at 3, right in this room, we'll be having our next workshop involving the administration code, specifically the personnel policy. We'll be sending out a little, some information ahead of time to all the court, prep everybody for that session, and I advise the department heads be there to help us work through some things. Anybody else have any old business?
I do. I sent out the square footage calculation for the different departments. It's not 100% accurate, but with the papers and the things we had to work with, there were a couple of things in it. This whole floor, I attributed, and you could break part of it down to the occupation and but I put on basically yours, including the hallways and bathrooms and everything. The far end, the old district court portion I put on the sheriff. The rest of it is, because everybody uses it, the halls and walkways and restrooms is attributed equally on the same percentages that everybody's using this portion of the building. And that seemed to be the fairest way to do it to me. And if that could be a start towards getting our budget set up where we give a total for every department, including dividing up the heat and insurance and all those kind of things, I think that would be better. I know we can't do that until next year, but I mean next fiscal year starting in July, but that hopefully that gets that started. If there's anything else I need to do, let me know.
Any other old business? With that, we'll go to good of the county, and anybody from the audience who'd like to come up?
Oh, no.
County Engineer Bill Hubiak.
Just like to give the fiscal court an update on our severe weather event that we had last week. We were pretty fortunate that the sleet quit off when it did. It caused more problems than the snow, as you all know. If it had not quit off when it did, we'd have had a lot more trees down and power lines down throughout the county. Mother Nature's going to help us out today and should clear all the roads off with the temperatures getting up close to 50. We still have some slick spots throughout the county in areas that are shaded, and so we're still taking care of some of that while we're disassembling most of the other equipment and prepping it for the next event by cleaning it off and de-icing everything. So we're replenishing our salt sand bin. We just about depleted what we had in the shed at the road department through this last event due to significant amounts of ice and snow that we have. No injuries. 2 slide-offs with our trucks. We were able to get them out with our own equipment. No damage to anything. Would like to really thank the public. They heeded the request to stay off the roads as much as possible. It was about the fewest amount of vehicles I've seen on the roads since I've been here during a state of emergency. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that, just because of the fact it makes it a lot safer for our equipment to try to take care of the roads. And I know Sheriff Crafton, everybody stayed in touch, doing the best we can. And I do appreciate the communication on down trees. So it went very well. And we kept our overtime down as much as possible. I can't give you an update on the total cost of this event because Dotsie had to go to Texas. Our husband's in ICU down there. She had to fly out this morning. Don't have an update on that yet, but she tracks that for us. So, any questions?
Did you have any call-outs on Saturday or Sunday for anything?
No, we, no call-outs on downlines or anything like that. We took care of everything. We're trying to take care of all the roads where the school bus garage felt that we needed to try to put a little extra attention today so they can get in operation tomorrow. So we're working on our portions of those roads. Hopefully the state's working on their portions. We are in the process of filling our salt sand storage building. We also did supply Webster County with some salt that they requested to. Will be reimbursed at this year's price for that. So, any other questions?
Yeah, Bill, I'm a little surprised at the sidewalks and the entrances of the courthouse and this facility. Is there something we can do to, I mean, it's ice just everywhere, and I've never seen it like that before.
I'll double check on that.
Fiscal court, no, I mean, Charlie or somebody, I don't know how it is across the street, but normally you all run a truck over there, or used to. I don't know if you still do or not.
We'll check into that.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Our compliments to your team, Bill, and also to Sheriff Crafton's team. I know they worked hard, and especially Friday, late Thursday, Friday, tough conditions.
Yeah.
And also, you know, as is always the case, our jail could never shut down, so those folks were coming to work in bad weather and working through the night. Appreciate all of them, too. Anything else for good of the county from any members of the audience? With that, we'll go around the horn, and Master Southern.
I was out yesterday on the roads, and like Bill said, just the shaded areas was the ones I found to be the worst. County roads were in pretty good shape. State roads hitting me as some of the secondary state roads were still slick, but I think today it'll be better now that we get some temperatures getting above freezing. And tonight I don't think it's supposed to get as cold either, so it should help the salt work. But there's still slick spots out there, so we need to make sure we're anticipating it might be good on this side of the hill, but the other side of the hill's slick, so just be careful. And other than that, all's good.
Thank you, Master Moran.
I would also like to thank the Sheriff's Office and Road Department. They always are so helpful and do so much, and I do appreciate them. And I look forward to taking Tyson and his family to lunch today. So that'll
Do we need to expand the limit on the credit card?
No, we
Okay.
can.
Okay.
Double dessert.
All's good in the same.
All's good. Master Putman.
Thank you, Judge. Just congratulations, Tice, and I see you brought quite a gathering with you today, so it appears that you come from a family that offers you quite a bit of support. I know those two people there on the end, Mary Sue and J.B. Slaughters, very well. They're great people. I can attest to that. And I just want to go back to something I've said before about the scholars. You know, you're looking at a population in the Henderson County schools of somewhere between 3,000 to 4,000 children. You know, and to date, and I haven't counted this out exactly, but, you know, since we've been doing this since 2010, 2011, there's probably only been maybe 125 to 130 judges, scholars that's come through this court. So to me, it puts a pretty big emphasis on how important and what a great young man you are and what your family does to keep you going on that straight and narrow. So, but anyway, I just want to congratulate you. I think it's a tremendous honor to get a proclamation, to have a day, almost like a birthday. You can celebrate like today, February 8th, and then your birthday too. So, and you'll have that proclamation hanging on the wall to remind your parents, say, look, here it is. Well, we do it. So anyway, congratulations, Judge, and all is good in the fourth.
Thank you. Master McCullum?
Trice, I'd like to say congratulations and to your family as well. And I hope you're as good a ball player. I tore my rotor cuff listening to a game, throwing an imaginary ball because we were so close to winning. But I'm proud of your family, and my uncle married into your family, so I think her name's on the wall out there. I'd like to see if maybe Roberts would loan us some money, because they've got a big stash and they don't spend it because they're so financially conservative. But that's okay. I know that's why. But I've had a good time with one of your city commissioners. He's been a real pleasure to me. Worked as a bailiff at the courthouse, but. Everything's good in the fifth. My roads are clean, and my ditches are clean, and I'm in really good shape. Of course, I'm in the middle of town. Don't have any county roads, but that's. Thank you.
That joke is new for every family of every Judges Scholar who comes in, so it works every time. We just hear it every time. Every time.
And they're sort of tired of it, too. But anyway.
Thank you, Master Berry.
Thank you, Judge. I won't keep you. Are you bored yet, Tice? No? Well, good. Everybody says yes. That's good. Congratulations to you. I know going last, everybody's already said everything that I can say, except I know your family. You got a great family. If one uncle was here, I could probably talk all day. Probably couldn't tell it. It'd be public, and I probably shouldn't say all those things, but you know who I'm talking about. I wanted to thank the Sheriff's Office for all the work they did in ICE. Mr. Zussman, thank you very, very, very deeply. That's a great honor. So yeah, thank you very kindly. Bruce at the jail, everybody that had anything to do with the bad weather, coming to work, running their organizations, whatever, everybody done a good job. Bill, thank you. Seemed like I had something else, but I forgot. But anyway, thank the family for coming. You got a great family, eat a lot. Judge has got a big credit card. So tear it up, buddy. You know where you're going? Don't know yet. All right. Judge, I think that's it. Everything's good in the first. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gold?
Thank you. Things are good in the county attorney's office. We saw with the snow event and the ice event that we do have a lot of operations that run 24/7 in Henderson County, and they all work together really well, and that's something I've always been really proud of, from the jail to the road department to the sheriff's department. Speaking of the sheriff's department, I got to deal with them a lot over a few different things that came up during that, because I lived closer than any of the other prosecutors, so I got to be default on call. And I want to say my biggest concern about when David Crafton became sheriff was who's going to be the new David Crafton, who's going to be in that number 2 spot. And he's got a guy there, Dwight, that he has elevated to that is really stepping into those big shoes that formerly Colonel, now Sheriff Crafton stepped into or left. And he's doing an excellent job, and I just wanted to let you know, Sheriff, that I'm very impressed at how well he's stepping into that, and I think you all make a fantastic team. So, just want to again congratulate and thank Mr. Zussman for all that he's done. As I said, there's truly so many lives that he's touched over the decades that there's going to be a ripple effect felt for generations for what he's done, and I know that he can look back on that and be very proud to have that sort of legacy that is going to go on for decades. So that's this community, this area owes a great debt to you, and I think you're an excellent role model for somebody like Tice, who's being raised up by a fantastic family, surrounded by a ton of love, but seeing the legacy of somebody like Mr. Zussman, who has even after years of working and retiring and everything, decided to volunteer and make the world a better place. I think that's a pretty good inspiration, and congratulations to you. Today is your day. It's proclaimed, right? And you got the paper to say it. nobody else can say that. So when you are back at school, none of the rest of them can say they've had a day named in their honor. That's pretty darn cool. And I know you deserve it. I know your family's really proud. So enjoy that. I'm sorry that on part of your day you had to spend one of those hours listening to the boring but important stuff that goes on here. But we're awful glad to have had you.
It's fairly short today, so.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Can I
Gold.
say one thing?
Sure.
I know when the sheriff was up here, the money issue come up, and I saw some eyes kind of look like, well, the sheriff's office don't have any money. That's not the issue at all. It's a overtime issue largely caused by COVID. So anybody watching would know that. Don't think, oh, the sheriff's office is broke already. So no, that's not the case. Just to kind of clarify
Just
that a little bit.
another adjustment related to COVID.
Thank you, Sheriff. Be quiet.
I'd just like to say our sheriff's as about as conservative financially as anybody else in this room.
And thank you, Mr. Gold, and I echo everything, all the compliments you paid to Mr. Zuspin. I'm really glad you're here today. I'm glad we're able to do that. And again, a lot of thanks to Judge Onan in Union County. I really feel strongly about this, and Senator Mills for making sure it happened. Tice, congratulations. I sincerely hope the whole family's going out to lunch, but then you got to go back to school, and we can't keep. Oh, that's right. NTI doesn't have to go back to school either. Forget I said that. But congratulations, man. It's a big deal. Our thoughts and prayers are with Doxy Lott. She's going down to visit her husband who has an issue down in Texas, and we are thinking of her. This Thursday night at 7 Eastern is West Kentucky Thank You Night, the annual or the biannual kind of reception that counties from around the region have for legislators up in Frankfort, both to say thank you, as the title of the event says, and also to pigeonhole them if needed and promote the things that are important to West Kentucky. And I have to be up there for another reason as well, so I'm going to be attending, and Henderson County Fiscal Court is part of the sponsorship, and it's a really good event. And last time we were there, I think I was with Master McCullum, and they had a big crowd. And that night, the governor always speaks. He's always invited to speak, and I can't remember a governor who did not make the meeting. And on Governor Beshear's way out that night, he and I had one of the longest conversations I've ever had with a governor about I-69. It was really, really good. He took time to sit and talk to me for a good 5-10 minutes. And that was good. And I think that's one of the reasons why you do receptions like this, is able to get a little FaceTime with people who make the decisions in Frankfort. So I will be there. You're welcome to come. It's free. But if not, I will carry the water, carry the banner for Henderson County, and look forward to it. That is all I have, other than compliments to our whole team over the weekend, over the last 4 days, keeping everybody safe. And I don't think we had any injury accidents. As far as I know, we had no team members get hurt, and the ice did not hit us as hard as it has in the past. I know every time I hear the word ice storm, I have flashbacks to 2009 that are not pleasant, so glad that didn't happen. On that cheery note, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor can leave.